Yep. So once again, we're back with Brother Zebulon, student in the ministry, at the barbershop.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. What's going on, my brother?
Man, nothing but the work of Allah.
That's it.
Each one teach one.
Absolutely, that's it. And that's the right spirit that we want to strive to be in.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah.
Because it takes the Holy Spirit, right? I heard you talking about the Holy Spirit before.
Oh, man. Brothers are natural. Absolutely. The
And-
Holy Spirit. And see, in the Holy Quran, the Holy Prophet, the angel revealed to the Holy Prophet that that Allah filled him up with the Holy Spirit in the gospel. Armed him with the Holy Spirit in the gospel.
Right,
And that's the way that was the reason Jesus was able to do what he was doing.
right.
Because of the Holy Spirit in the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
So Muslims believe in the Holy Spirit, or should believe in the Holy Spirit.
Right.
Because we use all of these substitution words to substitute for what is qualities that come with the Holy Spirit.
Such as, now I'm looking over here now, endurance, prophecy fulfilled,
All of that's Holy Spirit, brother.
patience, love.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding and guidance and enthusiasm and motivation and all of these words, morale,
Mm-hmm.
all of that's connected to the Holy Spirit. So instead of going through the whole list of words,
Mm-hmm.
the Holy Spirit is when you're filled up with God.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you not have love?
Okay.
If you have the Spirit of God in you, why would you not have the spirit of endurance
Mm-hmm.
and motivation and a high morale? Why would you not have these qualities if you have the Spirit of God in you?
Mm-hmm.
And we as Muslims need to pay attention to that word, because I believe our success will be greater once we pay attention to that word. Not only say it, but understand what it implies.
Okay. So what you're saying is to be a Muslim, or to claim that you're a part of a spiritual organization or a religious organization doesn't necessarily mean that you're operating from the standpoint of the spirit, would you say?
Well, I more so I would say it like this, Brother Kyle,
Mm-hmm.
that we all have qualities that the other religion may not have.
Mm-hmm.
Christians are strong in an area where the Muslims are weak.
Mm-hmm.
And Muslims are strong where the Christians are weak. So it's a religious thing, and it's an understanding thing. Allah keeps us all worth something to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Valid. The validation of the Christian is he's filled with the Holy Spirit, so they do great things because they acknowledge that Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
But they may be lacking the understanding of the reality of God.
Okay.
And look at it more so like God is a spirit, but they won't recognize God the man.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they say Jesus is perfectly God and perfectly man. Well, of course, if they say perfectly God, that's talking about the spirit that's in him.
Okay.
And he's perfectly man because you're looking at a man. You're looking at a house where God's spirit lives in.
Mm-hmm.
But the connection between Jesus and us in the church is really not a good thing. It's not on the level that it should be, because we pretty much, because of doctrine, separated
Mm-hmm.
the head from the body. And that should never be.
Mm-hmm.
That's decapitation. And that's what goes on in a lot of our churches, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Decapitated believers.
Mm.
Where you don't acknowledge the fact that you are supposed to be the body of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And the spirit that lives inside you is supposed to be cohesive with the spirit that's inside the head, which is Christ.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be a spirit in the head and a different spirit in the body. Because now Ephesians 4:4 is not in play. One body, one faith, one baptism. See, these are the things that the believers, once the Christians really understand that concept, that physical concept, then they'll do even greater things.
Right.
But with us, we recognize the power of Allah and do things in the name of Allah. But at the same time, we look at it like Allah is one, and we don't look at it like we're a part of Allah. So we're in worship mood and we're not in relationship mode. There's no relationship with the Muslims when they don't have the right understanding.
Mm-hmm.
They'll worship Allah, but they won't look at Allah like the Father.
Mm-hmm.
But once we become one, we're related to the God.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what's going to happen. Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad seen it, that we would not rise until the church rise.
Right.
That's what he said. So once we acknowledge that and we pull these truths together, we'll be delivered overnight. According to the messenger of Allah, and now the exalted Christ, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Gotcha. Now, what would you say about how would you define setting up an associate with Allah or setting up an associate with God?
When you're worshiping something other than the originator of the heavens and the earth.
Okay.
Bowing down and worshiping. Or giving another deity the same praise that you would give God, who's worthy of all the praise.
And how would you say, how do we see that out here, you know, just as some brothers and trying to do good works and good deeds? From an elevated standpoint, I'm sure you must have an insight on how do you see that today?
How do I see what? I need you to repeat that question.
Just how do you see that today as far as the whole concept of being in worship mode and worshiping a God other than the Creator himself?
Well, again, we all have weaknesses in our religions. We have strengths in our religions. And once we come together, we can expose these weaknesses and strengthen them. So in the Christian faith, whenever they pray to the one who God sent, more so than the one who sent the one. See, Jesus said, the one who sins is always, not some of the time, but always greater than the one who sent. The one who sent is a messenger. The one who sent is a humble man of God. He won't even allow you to call him good.
Right.
Matthew chapter, I believe it's 18 or 19.
Okay.
And it's good to read both so you can get context.
Read the whole chapter, right?
Yes, sir.
I got you.
So, Kyle, just piggyback on what you asked Lee was how do you bring other people in the fold? I think that's the question you was asking him to bring warriors into the ministry. I think that's what.
That's a good question. Were you asking me that?
That's a good question. We could roll with that.
Okay. And that's where you come in.
Right. So.
Because the spirit of love. I don't want to cut you off at all.
Yeah. No. I'm just your perspective on bringing brothers in the fold, Christian brothers as well as brothers in the.
That's unity.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I have to introduce my brother in the chair as a Christian giant who opened up the doors to St. Barnabas on 18th and Ward and allowed Muslim brothers to come into the church and have a Bible study. But I don't believe you would have did that if you weren't feeling the spirit. See, when we don't understand how the unseen and the seen is supposed to work hand in hand, you're looking at me with the spirit in me and the spirit in you connected enough that you ended up allowing me to come into the church, meet your pastor. Your pastor received me, and we ended up with a Bible study for 6 months. A Muslim Bible study in church.
Wow.
So it starts with the spirit.
That's it.
That's very important. Yeah, and I bear witness to that. You know, funny, Zeke, you know those 3 churches that was on that corner, all 3 are gone.
That's right.
As we speak.
That's right.
We're the only ones still standing. So.
Wow.
Says a lot, don't it?
Yeah.
Because you're not spiritual cowards.
Exactly.
You understand?
Yeah.
And I'm using what the Honorable Minister Little Farrakhan said. He said he hates spiritual cowards. That's when you really are pretty much worshiping a religion, which is idolatry.
Okay.
And not Allah. Because if you're worshiping Almighty God, whatever you call him, Yahweh or Jehovah or Allah, but the Most High, the originator of the heavens and the earth, if you're worshiping him, then you're following truth and you're He is the truth.
Yeah.
Right? Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Or the life. So when you're worshiping God, then you are searching for truth. You're always on a journey to get more and more truth. But when you're worshiping religion, you're running from truth.
Wow, okay.
Because the truth exposes your false religion. So now you have people protecting false religion, and that's a spiritual coward.
Okay.
And see, I'm serious. It's a warfare going on with these churches. They actually falling like dominoes.
That's right. Revelation chapter 2 and 3 talks about the churches. That judgment would start first in the house of the Lord. There's 7 churches. And the only one that was a little okay was the Church of Philadelphia. It still wasn't perfect, but we were at least sincere. I like to say we because we live in Philadelphia.
Right.
And the Babylon is right here in America. So the Church of Philadelphia had some sincerity. We weren't all wise and knowing, but at least we never let the love of God fall.
Yes.
But all the other churches, were not right. The other 6, each one of them had a problem. So now that's why, if you look at it and apply that to what you just said, all the churches are falling. Maybe because they're not sincere.
Absolutely. They fall.
Maybe
for sure.
because they're spiritual cowards.
Yes. And you talked about what God talks about in Revelations, how it would happen. And
That's
it
right.
come to fruition.
That's right. We can't be afraid of each other. We can't be afraid to listen. And we can't be afraid to learn. But see, when you humble yourself, you can learn.
Yes.
And you can listen when you humble yourself. My grandfather used to tell me that where 2 people, 2 or more are, like Jesus said, he will also be with them. Right? Now, what makes him leave? Once you start getting arrogant and it becomes a part of something, it becomes about you.
You.
Soon
You
as
take them out. You take them out. Yeah.
argument kicks in.
Yeah.
Once the argument starts, and it's not like the Holy Quran says in the best of manner,
Right.
when that argument starts, God leaves. Now you've got
Wow.
2 fools arguing with each
Go
other.
ahead. Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah.
That's all right. That's so true. So true, brother. That is so true.
See, we're the children of America. Or like my Hebrew Israelites say, the children of Israel, the real children of Israel. Because we have something in common. 400 years of slavery. That's what we have in common. So like the Chaldeans, God gives us the example of what to do and what not to do. Why would we allow religion or anything to separate us when we suffer the same way? I believe once we finally get that in our heads that we are one, then like Malcolm said, we become one fist that can knock anything out that's in front of us.
Yes, sir.
But divided, we can't do the job.
Right. So, Kyle, piggybacking on the
Camelback, you must
camelback.
Leave that.
Flying off your mind.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah, I like camelback. I like camelback. Yeah.
Okay.
So that camelback on that. So that's definitely a lot of things that we can start to do to bring more brothers into the fold, right? We just went over a lot of different things that's really happening today that's dividing us, and a lot of things you just said could, I know, bring us together. So that's a message that should go forward with most pastors and brothers in the nation. So hopefully someone's watching the podcast will see it and forward it on to their leaders.
Absolutely.
That's strong message though, bro.
All praises due to Allah, brother. And I want to share what the minister said on YouTube. He had the best preaching ever. I think it's under that when you YouTube that. The minister had a lecture called true Christian love. Because that's what it's going to take for us to do what we just said. See, true Christian love, you're not going to find it anywhere else. True Christian love exists in Matthew chapter 5, when it's talking about loving your enemies, praying for those, who may curse you. But love your enemy is Matthew chapter 5, verse 44. But it's good to read 5 and 6.
Okay.
And I believe the Lord's Prayer is in chapter 6 of Matthew. So true Christian love is when you're exercising the love that Christ exercised with us.
Right, right.
Now, who is the us? The New Testament tells you that the us was his own people, not everybody. We said that with the last video that we had. It couldn't have been everybody when you read Matthew 10, go ye not in the way of the Gentiles. Well, the Gentiles are the Europeans.
Yes.
So when you understand that, Matthew 10, Jesus is telling his disciples as he puts them, gives them their mission. He says, go ye not in the way of the Gentile, or in any city of the Samaritan enter ye not. So these are people. Don't even go to the Samaritans, even though the gospel, Jesus tells us about a good Samaritan. But the instruction, that's what we have to learn. That's why the Nation of Islam is a military. We receive instructions and we obey. And we pass on to the sentinel who relieves us. General Order number 6. So the instruction that Jesus gave was, go ye not in the way of the Gentiles, or in any city of the Samaritans, the people that didn't mind mixing.
Right.
And since they didn't mind mixing, the Jews who did not mix looked down on the Samaritans. Go ye rather to the lost sheep that's in the house of Israel. As you go, preach what? The kingdom of heaven is near. Heal the sick and cleanse the leper. Now, why not cleanse the leper if the leper is a skin disorder?
Right.
I'm not cleansed, but why not heal that?
Heal it.
If there's a sickness or illness or a skin disorder.
Makes more sense to me.
Cleanse the leper means you're cleaning the whitewashed mind of the people. The Gentile mentality. Because in the Bible, it not only talks about the flesh Gentile, but it also talks about the mental Gentile. See? And we have a lot of white thinking black people in the world. And I should say, to be more accurate, wickedly white thinking. Because you have good, of course, we know people who are good, different races. Even in the Nation of Islam, one of the strong freedom fighters, Father Flair, he's a white Catholic. But I'm not going to refer to a man like that as wicked.
Right.
When all of the work that he does is good.
Yeah.
I don't know the heart, but you can judge a tree by the fruit that it bears. So we don't want to offend the people who do good.
Right.
The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us that the man who revealed this perfect revelation was a white man, mother and father. So we have to remember these things.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
But you made a good point as far as instead of curing the problem, the disease that you talked about. You just talked about
The
the leprosy.
Cleanse the leper.
Cleanse the leprosy.
See, we need to be brainwashed, the minister said.
Yes.
Not in a bad way, but we got to wash the filth out of our minds.
Yes.
See, when you don't do what you're supposed to do and say what you're supposed to say, or what the scriptures tell us to say, you're not a man of your word. See, if you believe that wrong is right, and if you sympathize with wrong, that means you're similar to the wrong.
Yes.
See, the prefix of the word sympathy is sim, and sim means similar. Learn that from our leader or our
So the right thing to
student
do.
regional minister, Rodney Muhammad. That's why it's good to come out on Sunday.
So the right thing to do is to reintroduce, clears our mind, to reintroduce what God wants to do, and that is to change that mindset. Is that what you're saying?
And the only way you can change it, that's exactly what I'm saying. But in this dispensation of time, like it was Jesus, it's the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So we should be doing what 2 Timothy says, chapter 4, I believe verse 5. We must study to show ourselves approved of our Lord, rightly dividing the word of God. Well, God ain't gonna have you do that by yourself.
Right.
He'll send you
Someone.
a Christ figure that will make it very plain for us.
Right.
But if we worship religion, we can't even recognize the Christ when we see him.
Right.
First of all, if you've never seen Christ, how would you know him if you saw him? I like to ask that question because they'll say in a minute, he's not the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Why? Because he's a Muslim? When
Yeah.
Muhammad means one who submits his will completely, or a Muslim means one who submits himself completely
Yeah, that's what
to
they do.
obey God, and
Yeah.
Jesus was one who submitted his will to obey God.
Yeah, that's what they do.
You can find that in John 17, the whole chapter. I came. Jesus makes his shahada in John chapter 17, verse 3. I came that they may know you, not me or not us. I came that they may know you, the one true God, and Jesus Christ whom thou hast sent. Prophet Muhammad wasn't born yet, so the Muslims, we call that shahada. So Jesus is making his declaration of faith in his prayer, his final prayer. See, we got to understand these things. These are rightly dividing the word of God. I didn't figure this out, but it came from the messenger of Allah. In our time, in our dispensation of time.
Now, the worshiping of religion, could you just clarify what that means?
Well, basically, just like what I said, when you don't allow truth to sink into your mind. See, when you say Jesus can't be a Muslim, or Elijah Muhammad can't be Jesus because he's a Muslim, how do you put religion in it if Jesus didn't have religion in it? See, that's the key. That's the point. So when religion is in it, you become like a spiritual gang.
Okay.
Where the Crips and the Bloods, I can't like you, Crip.
Yeah.
I'm down with the Bloods. I can't like you, Muslim. I'm a Baptist Christian. But it says test the spirits to see if they come from above or from beneath. You don't even like me enough to test what I'm saying? Most people that criticize the nation won't even sit down and study our lessons. And then show us where we're wrong. That's what a brother would do. But see, a person who worships religion, he'll just walk away from you because you're a Muslim. He won't even test the spirit.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's our problem today.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, I think that's very significant. I feel like a lot of people may have not have heard that terminology before, so that's very good.
That's the Holy Spirit inside a Muslim. Elijah Muhammad predicted it, that we would rise when we come together. Where you're weak, we're strong, and where we're strong, you're weak, but we get it together, we're both strong.
Real strong.
Where we're weak, you're strong.
Yes.
We need each other, basically. Allah
Yes, that's
makes
right.
it like that.
Absolutely.
And that's why the Holy Quran, for the most part, doesn't have really one full biblical story in it. Because Allah makes us to go back to the Bible to get the whole story.
Yes.
So we can't use one revelation against the other.
Yeah. That's one thing I've learned in business. You need people.
That's
you
right.
need each other. That's one thing I did learn. You could be an a-hole all you want.
Right.
But guess what? You're gonna need something. You're gonna need people in order
That's
to
it.
be successful.
That's
And
it.
that's what anything really you think about. Our relationship, a strong relationship. You need someone else.
That's right. Allah, God is all-knowing, not us. And that's why Allah reminds us that we don't know it all. Because really, if we did, we would be able to heal our world, and we're not because we're missing too many things.
Exactly.
Unity is one of the main things we're missing, and spiritual unity in particular is the unity that we need to get this world the way it should be. Because we are, whether we accept the responsibility or not, we are supposed to be the guides or the representatives of the prophets, because we've accepted a religion, whether it be Christianity or Islam.
You gotta be careful.
What kind of example are we setting when we're divided? Why would a Crip want to be a Christian? You doing the same thing he doing.
Exactly.
Why would a Blood want to be a Muslim? We doing the same thing
That's right.
they're doing.
Yeah.
But the only thing that makes it attractive is when we can show unity. Can you imagine if the spiritual community, which in Islam we say ummah, if the spiritual community got together, just the Muslims as an example. And what would happen if the Muslims and the Christians got together? Don't you know Satan's job is to keep us separate?
That's
And if Satan's job is to keep Christianity separate from Islam,
Right.
His job is also to keep Islam against Islam.
Yeah.
So we have many different denominations.
Absolutely.
Not one whole number, but a denomination in Christianity, in Islam as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have Sufis and Shiites and Sunnis, and we have Baptists and Pentecostals and Methodists and Catholics and Jehovah's Witnesses. We got all of this division.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you tell me you got the Holy Spirit of discernment, but you can't discern through this madness?
What's going on?
Right. What's going on and who's winning? Who you really fighting for?
Yeah.
Whose team are you really
What
on?
team are you really on? Yeah.
You're not on God's team because you would be one.
That's right.
Say he Allah is one.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's strong.
I came that they may know you, the one true God, and Jesus Christ, whom ye had sent. See? So he made a clear distinction between him and his sender, his Lord, his creator. He made a distinction between the two, but they are one in spiritual unity. And later on in that chapter, he says, if you accept him, and that's what we talked about the last time I was in your church, remember that?
Sure did.
When I said I would be remiss, and I would be doing you a disservice if I don't tell you the difference between the Muslims and the Christians and how we see Jesus. Well, every Muslim, I don't believe anybody would disagree with me, and the whole Islamic community, when you read John chapter 17, that is exactly how we see Jesus, a man who took his shahada right there in the gospel, which is the declaration of faith for the Muslims, or the ones who believe. Jesus, your mother and your brother's outside.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus asked the question, who is my mother? Who is my brother? My mother and my brother is Muslims, he said. He said, it's he that does the will of my Father. That's the definition of Muslim. I think that's the best place to stop right there.
Wow.
So we can meditate on that.
That's
Wow.
Yes, sir. But this thing is going to be big because the Holy Spirit is all in this, effort. This is an effort to bring our people together.
Uh-huh.
Wow. That was strong, man.
That was very heavy, very
All
strong.
praise is due to Allah.
We thank Allah.
I believe it's going to get even stronger because it's not us, but it's God.
Mm-hmm.
That's the back, and I know you got it.
All right, my brother. Well, we thank you for your time again. We thank Brother Ron for his input.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Alhamdulillah.
I'll see you guys the next time.
That's right.
Absolutely. Assalamu alaikum, brothers. Peace. Peace.
Peace and blessings.